Hello and welcome fellow motorsports fans. More and more series are returning from their respective summer breaks, which led to a pretty stacked race week in categories like the DTM, SuperFormula, GT World Challenge, Asia and America, and many more. And as always, my job is to tell you all about it right here and now. Off we go. The DTM's Lausitz Ring Round started with the continuation of the mental streak with 9 different winners in the 9 races, as Jack Aitken managed to find his first this year and thus the first win for a Ferrari. The Italian brand definitely had some questionable BOP, certainly not aided by the lack of competing cars of course, but finally had its chance to shine in the scorching heat of East Germany. Mirko Bortolotti and Kelvin van der Linde complete the podium. Kelvin in particular had a great drive to make up some crucial positions during the pit cycle. Championship leader Thomas Preining got involved in a lap 1 incident with Frank Carrera, which saw a harsh penalty involving 3 long laps for the Austrian Porsche driver. That combined with terrible Porsche performance across the weekend sent him down to P15, although he still beat a few crucial opponents to take home a point at least. The second race finally produced the first 2 times winner, as Bortolotti managed to defend his P1 lights to flag with Riccardo Feller constantly right on his gearbox. BOP arguments aside, a stunning drive, especially when considering the very hot conditions. Lukas Stolz completes the podium after a well executed strategy, breaking Preining's streak of 1 podium every single weekend, as the Austrian had to settle for P4. Still the best Porsche result ahead of teammate Dennis Olsen. Mentai looked like the only Porsche squad to figure out the setup overnight. The most noteworthy incident of race 2 consisted of Frank Pereira breaking his way into the rear end of Clemens Schmidt in the battle for P3, denying the Austrian his opportunity at a maiden podium. Bortolotti has taken over the championship lead with the 2 massive results just 7 points ahead of Preining. Feller is now back in P3 ahead of reigning champion Sheldon van der Linde and Lucas Auer. With 3 more rounds to go, the championship is still wide open with 5 brands represented in the top 5. Good thing the Sachsenring round is only a few weeks away, eh? Porsche Carrera Cup Germany saw GP Elite dominated race 1 with Luke Hartog leading lights to flag ahead of superstar teammate Larry Tenforde. Allied Racing teammates and fellow title contenders Bastian Boos and Harry King exchanged some paint early on in the race when Boos retook P3, costing King a couple of additional positions which he regained over the course of the race to finish P4 anyway. The final minutes were rather chaotic with contact and a spin, ending the race a bit prematurely under the safety car. Interestingly, the leading pair of rookies, Theo Overhaus and Harry Jones, both got involved in incidents, so neither was able to gain a points advantage. Race 2 was the opposite story out front, this time with an Allied Racing 1-2, dominant performance from Boos after taking the lead in a prolonged lap 1 battle against Hartog. Hartog eventually had a mechanical issue, losing power on the restart causing him to retire. Unfortunately, he slowed up right in front of Tenforde, allowing King to drive past to P2. The rest of the race had a classic King vs Tenforde battle, but ultimately King managed to retain the position. This time, both leading rookies made it to the end, fighting for P6 more or less the entire race. Aussie Harry Jones ultimately came out on top in that particular duel. If you'd like to stay informed about series like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would really help a lot. The return of GT World Challenge America produced 2 tense races at Road America. Alessandro Balzan and Manny Franco in the Conquest Racing Ferrari number 21 finally found their first win of the season and did so in pretty dominant fashion, almost leading lights to flag. Big results for BMW as the Chandler Hull and Bill Oberlin driven Bimmer World Racing number 94 finished P2 ahead of Pro-Am winners George Kurtz and Colin Brown in the 04 AMG, and for the 3rd time in a row, the Samantha Tan and Neil Weigen 32 BMW end up P2 in Pro-Am. Pro-Am leader Adam Adelson unfortunately wrecked the number 120 Wright Motorsports Porsche on a safety car restart, costing them crucial points in their title fight. Race 2 had a shocking twist with about 30 minutes to go after a controlled stint out front from Brown, which Kurtz continued for the first 10 minutes of his race, until he got taken out in shocking fashion by rejoining Paul Kibler. Not only is this one of the worst ways to lose a win, the subsequent safety car also allowed for a full reshuffle at the restart, as the now M-driven portion of the field got swallowed up on restart. Hull had inherited the lead after the incident, but his Bimmer World number 94 had to be retired with a mechanical issue, allowing Manny Franco, out of all people, to muscle his way to the front to take back-to-back wins. Phil Garrers, in equally surprising fashion, managed to charge all the way to P2 after a pretty horrible opening stint from Makalia, and Samantha Tan in the number 38 BMW once again completes the podium, this time combined with their first class victory of the season. Harrison was in a prime position to make it the double female podium, but she unfortunately had to spin after a pretty successful restart, dropping the 93 Racers Edge Acura to P7. Overall, a great comeback from the summer break, despite the questionable driving standards. SuperFormula's Motegi round produced a dramatic opening lap as championship contender Liam Lawson had an incredible start from P3, attacking his pole-sitting teammate Tomoko Nijiri around the outside of turn 1 before he got run a little wide and lost the car, spinning through the pack to end his own race while taking out Makino, Sekiguchi and Matsushita in the process. This means Nojiri actually got the exact scenario he needed to be right back in the championship fight ahead of the upcoming final Suzuka doubleheader. Championship leader Ritomo Miyata had his own problems on lap 1, meaning he had to start from the back of the grid after the initial red flag, but he had a fantastic drive, charging through the pack all the way to a glorious P4 finish. This extends his championship lead a little, but with only 10 points separating the top 3, we've now got a true championship battle on our hands. I certainly can't wait for Suzuka. Honorable mention goes out to Toshiki Oyu, who finally scored his first podium of the season. The penultimate round of the GT World Challenge Asia, and thus the final round of the Japan Cup part of the series, took place at Okayama this weekend. Race 1 was heavily interrupted during the first stint with a red flag and a lengthy full course yellow phase. Anthony Liu managed to get his Craft Bamboo AMG number 37 into the lead from P3, leaving Danny Yancadella to defend against Alessio Picariello's 911 Porsche, which he managed to do so until the checkered flag. Mike Grenier got his first chance to drive the championship leading 888 AMG number 88 after a mediocre opening stint from Prince Abubakar Ibrahim and successfully charged the car all the way to P4. He built on that performance in race 2, handing the car over in P3 to Abubakar Ibrahim. Unfortunately, they got rear-ended by the one and only car guy Takeshi Kimura, ruining the race with less than 20 minutes to go. The Misawa Racing Ferrari 555 took the win after Naoki Yokomitsu did a great job sitting on poleman Alessio Picariello's gearbox throughout the opening stint, allowing co-driver PT Birambakti to jump the 911 Porsche in the pits due to the success penalty. Infra Puvazak still managed to get the car back up from P5 to P2 for yet another podium finish, allowing the squad to get within 1 point of the championship lead. Said lead is retained by the number 37 Craft Bamboo AMG, following a solid stint from Danny Yancadella and a pretty magnificent stint from Anthony Liu to charge the car from outside the top 10 to a P4 finish. TCR World Tour experienced its first South American stop with the doubleheader at El Pinar. Cyan Racing was the team to beat in race 1, as happens so often this year. Local hero Santiago Urrutia managed to convert his pole into a win, aided by the fact that slightly quicker looking teammate Thad Björk got caught up in a lap 1 battle and had to spend the rest of the race closing the gap again. Fred Vavish completes the podium ahead of Nestor Girolami and Norbert Michelich. Championship leader Jan Erlacher had to settle for P6. Race 2 had Michael Askiner seemingly as the quickest driver, but after muscling his way past Erlacher to P2, he could never quite find the move past Ma Qinghua to take the win in the safety car interrupted race. Cyan Racing are certainly going to be happy about another double podium and enough points to retain Erlacher's championship lead. The Aussie Supercar triple header at the Bend delivered some great action through the weekend. Race 1 featured a spicy battle between the three eventual podium sitters Brody Kostecki, Chaz Mostert and Thomas Randall, after championship contender Will Brown got taken out on lap 1. Race 1 did set a few trends for the rest of the weekend, as Kostecki went on to an almost perfect weekend, taking all 3 wins for quite a significant jump in the championship. Brown, on the other hand, continued to have a pretty poor weekend with back-to-back P13 finishes. Randall, after not getting a single podium all year, actually managed to do so in all 3 races, quite the achievement. And last but not least, two-wheel action is finally back on the menu with MotoGP's Red Bull Ring Round, and Pecco Bagnaia just keeps running away with the championship, taking max points in Austria in dominant fashion. Brad Binder secured P2 in both sprint and GP for KTM, while teammate Jack Miller unfortunately went backwards rapidly during the main race. Marco Bezzecchi managed to claim the final step of the podium ahead of teammate Luca Marini and Gresini Ducati rider Alex Marquez, following a very lengthy battle between the trio. Fabio Quartararo had a solid race despite the Yamaha, finishing out of the likes of Bastianini and Elise Espargaro in P8. And Marc Marquez finally managed to finish his first race of the season on the trashy Honda, but, as expected, unfortunately all the way down in P12. My driver of the week is Mirko Bortolotti. We can talk about questionable BOP and DTM all year long, but not only did the Lamborghini ace achieve the highest scoring weekend of any DTM driver this season, while also crowning himself only double winner of the year, he managed to do so with an impressive defensive drive against a much quicker looking, no ballast running Riccardo Feller on a really hot day for basically the entire race duration. Not only does this hand him the deserved lead of the championship, drivers like this also make me incredibly excited for the arrival of the Lamborghini LMDH. Who was your favourite driver of the week? Let me know down in the comments. Next week's racing includes the long-awaited return of Formula 1 and 2, the second and final GTD only round in IMSA, as well as basically the entire North American open wheel ladder with the USF Juniors already in their season finale. I can't wait to tell you all about it, be it in the preview or the review format. Anyway, thanks for watching, take care, and remember, racing is more than just F1.